So we all know, or if not, you may have heard of the game Poppy Playtime. It came out with a chapter 1 and 2 and has more installments coming later in the future. But for now, on December 12th, 2022, a multiplayer aspect that is available free to play now on Steam, which is known as Project Playtime, has been released, and I've been playing it for a few days now and kind of just want to give my overall thoughts / impression review on the actual game itself. And the things I'm going to be covering overall in this review will be gameplay, the two types of characters you could be playing as, which are factory workers and monsters, and then talk about the various bugs and issues that I had while I was playing the game, and then at the end just talk about my overall thoughts and what I thought about the game in its entirety. But without further ado, let's just get started. So the gameplay and how everything works is that this game is very similar to Dead by Daylight, but it seems to be a little bit more watered down and simpler for everybody and a lot of more people to play, and there's not a big giant learning curve when it comes to the game itself. But first, we're going to be talking about the factory workers. So as a factory worker, your job is to be able to collect toy parts and stuff like that, but in order to get these parts, you have to go around the map and find these towers that have 3 puzzles, and each puzzle is different and unique to their own. One is a memorization where you have to essentially remember the white dots, and being able to, once it shows the white dots, then you got to memorize that from there. There's a piano key which gives you memorizations of colors and stuff like that, and then you have one that's more of like a hand-eye coordination thing where you have to have fast reactions and things like that. The problem is if you fail, it will indicate a radar, so then your monster will be able to actually see where you are, and you would have to escape from that area so they won't be able to get you and find you. And once you get all the toy parts, you would have to collect 6 toy parts in total. You can be able to pull down a contraption that's normally underground in the maps or wherever it's located, and from there you can be able to escape on the train and leave. So that's the job of being an actual worker itself. Now we go into the part of being a monster, which is a little bit more simpler. So your task is normally just to stop the actual workers from themselves from completing their task, and you can pick 3 different monsters, which is Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, and Boxy Boo, and each of them have their own different skills and variety. But the thing that makes them a little bit common that they can both all use, or all 3 of them could use, is sabotages. And sabotages will allow them to be able to do things like turn off lights, or being able to deactivate lockers or deactivate their grab packs and things like that, which is very useful at times when you need to get the actual workers themselves to take them down in a hole. The hole itself is actually kind of like a sewer system, so the worker has to fight their way against the Huggy Wuggies coming constantly and keep hitting them with their grab packs, and in order for them to escape, an actual helper or a teammate would have to pull them out from the actual hole itself. Another thing to point out when it comes to the actual survivors / workers themselves, they have things like sabotages, but it's more like perks. For them, they can increase their movement speed, or being able to solve puzzles faster, or actually being able to heal over time when you're nearby another teammate. And also as well, you can be able to loosen or increase the duration, or slow it down, by having your footprints disappear faster, so the actual monster doesn't see them and know exactly where you're going. But overall, the gameplay premise is actually very fun and interesting. There's been times where I've been worried and scared like for my life that I'm gonna die at any moment, and I've made some clutch moments and stuff like that all the time, like countless times, and I've kind of enjoyed it, and it's been a fun experience. And I've obviously, have been playing it for quite a bit of time now, since I haven't been playing anything else. But overall, I would give the gameplay and just the overall fun aspect of the gameplay, I would give it a good solid 8.5 out of 10. And there is the good part, but now we gotta kind of talk about a little bit more of the actual bad aspects about the game. And it's not huge negative issues, it's more like bugs and a few mechanics and stuff like that that they will have to fix, and hopefully they do in a few further patches and stuff like that. But the biggest issues that I've been having lately have been when it comes to the actual menu itself, like the UI overall. When you're able to customize your actual character and actually get ready in the game or pre-lobby, you actually, once you start to get in the actual match itself, it'll still show the characters' names and the people that's in the lobby, as well as underneath it'll say customize and actually ready. And it kind of bothers me when that's there, because my whole screen just feels cluttered, and at times it's just kind of bothering and overwhelming. And there's another bug that's very major, is when you're actually selecting your monster and you're being able to actually appear as a different monster from the survivor's point of view, and it looks like they are in a T-pose position, which is also bad because at the same time, one, it's not portraying the actual monster that you are going against, and at the same time, you can't hear any footsteps when this bug is happening. So it's kind of hard and difficult when you're getting attacked, but you don't know what happened because you couldn't hear anything. The only thing you can hear is their abilities. Like for example,
Alright.
That is so
Alright.
weird. Like, oh my, I took a screenshot of it. I'm actually gonna post that on the Discord server.
That's like the weirdest thing ever.
One game I was playing against Mommy Longlegs, and the only thing I can hear is when she was spitting her webs at me, and I didn't know she was around me until I started hearing those cues. And there will also be times when, as soon as I get down, for some reason I get just teleported from one area of the map to another, and then I get put into a hole, which it's kind of weird, and it's just a lot of visual things, and as well as the train. When you're on a train and for some reason you shift to another cart, or you completely get off the train and things like that. So there's a lot of issues that they have to fix overall. They're not game breaking issues where games would crash and stuff like that. I never had that issue, and I'm glad I didn't have those issues overall, because it would be a terrible experience if I did. But it's just kind of some minor fixes, some visual fixes, tweaks and stuff like that, but hopefully they should be able to fix those in the near future. Another problem I was having was my performance. For some reason, my actual system is twice, or if not 2 generations above the actual requirements that I need. It was saying that the requirements for the actual, recommended is a 1050, and I have a 3060. And when I was on Ultra, it was kind of playing not really well, and I had to put my settings on low and only have my textures and stuff like that too high. And in the beginning, I was kind of disappointed they didn't have a FOV slider, but soon after they did patch it and they did add an FOV slider, which I was glad about. So that's a really good thing about it. Overall, all it was just a few minor, bug tweaks and stuff like that. It's not game breaking, or it's not, breaking the immersion of the game. It's kind of funny at times to kind of see these bugs happen and stuff like that, but they do need to be fixed, because it is something that me personally, I have an issue with, because I want to play a full complete game that is working properly. And so, that's just pretty much it. So yeah, on to the next subject. Overall, I think the game is really good. I just enjoy it so much. It feels like a game that I could just play with my friends constantly. It's not really a game I see myself playing by myself often, so that's kind of a negative for me, but for the most part, I really would want to play with a bunch of other people, and especially like my closest friends if I can, which is really good. And at times it could be really fun to see their reactions and have them screaming for their life as you're chasing them as a monster, as like Boxy Boo or something. But overall, the game is really enjoyable, but with the actual issues and bugs themselves, it's gonna kind of lower the score a bit. So I would give the overall game of Project Playtime an actual 7 out of 10. It's not horrible, but it's good, but it's not something I'm going to keep constantly playing unless they add new stuff, fix things and things like that. So hopefully they do that and add new stuff and make it, refreshing over time. Because also an issue about it is there's only 2 maps, and I understand, yes, it probably has a lot of work making 2 maps, but at the same time, they're kind of somewhat similar, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff just kind of cluttered around, which is a bit hard and to understand and everything. You don't really have an understanding of how the map working at first when you're starting, so that's kind of a problem. But that's just how it is. But hopefully they fix those things, hopefully they adjust and just tweak things over time. But yeah, that's just what I really think about Project Playtime, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review and have a wonderful day. See you guys later.